Holy cow, we're live. And it's the wrong day, and it's the wrong time, and we had zero prep for this show.
But it's the right.
But guess what? It's day 4 with the man Frank Scalish on a day 5, Friday, high noon, opening day, season opener at the Palace on the Prairie tonight. The house that Bud built, historic Owen Field, Gaylord Memorial Stadium, packed place. Had to add another 25,000 seats. They could fit $100,000 in. Got the new SEC logo on the field, and we are ready to do battle with Temple at 6 p.m. Central Time tonight, Frank. And we're going to talk bass fishing. And I said that intro just because we may have a special guest a little bit later on, and I got to get it in while I can.
That's correct, dude. Nice to see you live.
Thank you. I left Ontario, Canada, the middle, went up the North Shore, and then crossed over, and I left there at 7 a.m. Yesterday. Now, I almost did not make it back into the country, and it was not because of me. So I went with my uncle, a family, a little bit of a remembrance trip for my uncle Jeff, who was an avid fisherman. Our family went up there for 50, 60 years. My grandma and grandpa started. Uncle Jeff passed away. Kind of did a little memorial trip for him with my other uncle, who hadn't fished in 12 years, but caught the hell out of smallmouth on a Zebco 33. So we're on our way back into the United States, and I've got my 4 walleye with the skin tags on them.
Yeah.
And I was nervous because I forgot I had a bell pepper, and there was a sign that said, please declare all vegetables and meats. So he said, do you have anything to declare? I said, I got my 4 walleye, 1 over 18, 3 under. I said, I also got a bell pepper and a pack of hot dogs. And he's running it, and all of a sudden there's a U.S. Border Patrol on both sides of the back of the boat, both sides of the truck, right at the doors in the front, and 3 people there, and they all have their hands on their weapons. And when something happened and I have global entry, because, Courtney's a flight attendant, right, Frank? So she's like, hey, we got to get you global entry so we can globetrot. But something tripped to where a silent alarm, and we were surrounded by U.S. Border Patrol.
What the hell was it, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. It was wild. And after 2 or 3 minutes, they huddled, and the guy came back, and he handed back the passport to my uncle, and he said, sorry about that. There's someone with a very similar name of you that has done some really bad things. Have a good day.
Oh, similar to you or to your uncle?
No, similar to my uncle's name. He's got a common name. Yeah. So it was pretty tense there for probably about 2.5 minutes.
He clearly did some pretty bad things.
Not my uncle, the guy with the
right now. Your uncle.
Now, I've been to Europe and Canada and Mexico and all that in the past 10 months. So it's not like, I'm good to go.
Wow.
But so anyway, I'm back, and it's smallmouth season, and we'll bloviate in the second half of the show.
I mean, dude, you literally, you had a good event, dude.
I had a good day. I had 23-10 of smallmouth on Leech Lake on day 2, top 10 the open there with smallmouth. But you cannot talk about a 9th place finish and keep our guest waiting, because he is coming off of a first place and a second place finish, the points leader in the Northern Toyota MLF division. He actually got off the water from catching gigantic bass. Kyle Cortiana, thank you for jumping on BTL. It's like 5 years overdue. I'm actually embarrassed that I have not had you on the show yet. You are you're from Oklahoma. You've been catching them. You have a long list of top 10s. You're perennial up there. You win the points, and I have not had you on the show. It has not been intentional. I apologize for that. You can be a regular from now on.
Hey, man, I'm glad. I will be happy to be a regular if you so choose, man. Thanks for
the closest we have been together is we fished a Toyota together. I think we were in the same in 19 or something, and we were I was like, that son of a gun, because we were both running the same pattern, and you were, I'm not even going to say what it is because I got the Bass Nation Championship out there, and you were 1 ahead of me. And then when I caught up, I realized why the schools were busted up. I'll tell you after on this particular thing. And it's because you were literally jumping the exact same thing I was, and I didn't catch you until after drowning.
Where were we?
We're on Grand.
Grand, when you said drowning. Yeah.
Late in the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I probably do. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good story. All right, Frank, show's yours.
Oh, great.
Dude, I've been driving. I've literally got home half an
I know,
hour ago
dude,
from a
I'm
26-hour drive. I jumped in the shower. I haven't shaved in 2 weeks. Threw my OU stuff on. Took a shot at Kyle because I know he's a OSU guy. And here we are.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So, dude, man, I mean, you came off of like some extraordinary smallmouth waters, and the crazy enough thing is that I grew up fishing them on Lake Erie over here, and our lake has changed vastly from all the tournament pressure. When where you're at now, what do you think that's going to affect them at all?
First of all, where are
you talking about here in Clayton? Here
Yeah.
in St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
No, man. I mean, you say that because you're talking about Erie and it's a great lake. I just feel like it's invincible up here. I've always felt like the Lake Ontario St. Lawrence River combo, like I don't think you can hurt it just because of the seasons and just the growth it's shown year after year. And some of that's because our technology has advanced. It's not because the anglers have gotten better. It's because they've gotten better with technology. But the other side of it is the fish are getting bigger. So it's kind of, it's, and they're still getting bigger. I got here this year and before this Toyota Series, and I was catching, 26-pound bags of smallmouth in a time of year. And this is 3 years in a row. I've been up here for over a month straight, and I've never seen that kind of quality come out of the river. I was like, dude, these fish are getting bigger, and they are. They're getting bigger.
That's a good thing.
Let me read off your last 6 days of smallmouth fishing, Kyle, because you won on Champlain. Now you had all brown on Champlain, right? You didn't have any green.
No, I weighed in. I did weigh in one. Wait a minute. No, I didn't. All brown.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
You won the Northern Series points. So your last 6 days of smallmouth fishing, I believe we'll just do the Toyota Series because was St. Clair in between the Toyota Series and the St. Lawrence? But here's your last 6 days on 20 pounds even, 22-3, 21-14, 25-12, 21-5, and 23-14. And you have pocketed $56,000 in earnings over those 6 days of smallmouth fishing on Lake Champlain and the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, and it doesn't include all the contingency dollars, that you might be eligible for. So yeah, great 6 days for sure.
That is fabulous, dude. God, that's stout, man. That's good fishing. So hey, so in all you're running around, because in all honesty, I don't follow a lot of the tournament trail stuff going on. I don't follow it around. So when I called you to come on the show, I started looking it up, and it's pretty impressive, dude.
For a dude from Oklahoma too, Broken Arrow.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, coming from where you live to come up here and take over the smallmouth game against some of the heavy hitters that's pretty stout, man. Without a doubt. It's a very hard thing to do. This show's weird because we go in a million different directions. I never really know where it's going to end up, or sometimes like today, how it's going to start. I'm intrigued by, I am not a forward-facing sonar guru by any stretch of the imagination. I'm getting way better at it thanks to Matt and the help of my son and some of my buddies. I'm getting better at it. I've noticed that certain things show up better on forward-facing sonar than other things. I'm really excited about the new jerkbait that Booyah had, and I have not had a chance to fish it yet. And so I'm relying heavily on your information, because Yet literally yesterday, I just ordered $350 worth. So, so I need to know.
Yeah.
Talk to me, dude. Talk to me about how you fished up there.
Yeah, man. So on the St. Lawrence River at ICAST, I had like 3 of these. This is it right here. This is the one that came out today. That's the sexy shad color. I literally had 3 of these. I had this one and 2 other colors. One was gold, and the other one was a pro blue color. But I only had 3 colors in it. But being a jerkbait, like I love jerkbait fishing. There's no other way I'd like to do it. And yeah, it's great for forward-facing sonar, but you don't need forward-facing sonar to know where to throw your jerkbait and work it. Wait on that rod to, the next twitch, it just locks up. Like, there's nothing more fun than twitching a jerkbait around. We jerkbaiting you? I don't know.
You're jerkbaiting there.
Yeah. So
That's outstanding.
It hands down my favorite way to fish. So I was really excited to get back here with ICAST with these and tied them on immediately. And I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. We're talking about like a bad day. That was a bad day of jerkbaiting right there. Anyway, the first day I took this thing out, I think I caught like 24 pounds on it in like 2 or 3 hours.
Dang.
And that's when I was like, holy crap. Not only did I notice that the fish are bigger, I was like, dude, I could win this thing on a jerkbait. Like, how fun would that be? Because it's really an efficient way to fish the river.
Yeah.
There's you can come up with your pattern or whatever you're looking for, your common denominators and the depth and the current and the grass or the sand, whatever you're looking for, and you can just run it. And if they're there, dude, if
They
you
get
don't
it.
have your sonar, you'll know if they're there. You'll get a bite you want. If you do, you'll know real fast. You'll see them start pursuing it or not. So not only is it really efficient, but it's a fun way to catch them.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is, Dan from Great Lakes Finesse.
Yeah.
So Dan and Chad went out fishing it, and Dan said something crazy. He said that jerkbait seemed like it always took the biggest fish out of the rock pile or the grass edge that they were fishing it. It seemed like the biggest ones took that bait. And so I jerkbait fish a lot, dude. I mean, a ton. And that was intriguing to me because of the action and the blade in the head of this thing. Wait a second. I hit something on my computer and something went.
No, you're good. You're still rolling.
Something went wrong. Okay. So the biggest thing about this bait that I'm taking away from it is how it shows up on, if you're live scoping, how it shows up on forward facing. The casting system in it it's a casting system like, they're supposed to be, so you could cast the thing. The blade in the head helps it on forward facing sonar, but the blade in the head, it's a tiny blade. I didn't know it was so small. I thought it was giant. The blade in the head is a tiny little blade. And so when the bait pitches and rolls, because you know how jerkbaits, they quiver, they pitch, and they roll, you get a very small, subtle flash from the blade, which I think could be a really big triggering mechanism because it's not overdone. It's not like a number 4 willow blade where it's it's a giant flash. This is a small flash. So that was the other thing that intrigued me about the bait. Aside from the fact that it's truly a suspending bait, which is very important for some of the applications that I have coming up. So I was really intrigued by it, but I've never fished one, and you have, and I want to know.
Yeah. I would say your assumption's pretty good because some of those areas I was throwing that, there's a lot of smaller fish living there. Mm-hmm. And I caught 2 6s, a 5 3/4, a 5 1/4, a 4 3/4. And it's like every time I leaned into it, I'm like, are they all that big, or am I catching the biggest one there? And there's a bunch of 2.5 to 3.5 pounders everywhere on the St. Lawrence River. And so there is something, there's got to be. I keep talking to myself, I'm like, why is it? And it really might have to be that little willow blade. Like it really could be that, because there's something to it, whether it's got a unique action to it that they like. Maybe they like the fatter abdomen to the bait, the little bit bigger profile. But to me, the big, bold difference is the blade. And, you know, I got my buddy, he flew up here from Oklahoma with me, and he's like, does it flash? And I just put it in the water and twitched it twice. And I mean, it literally puts out a blinding, just a small little blinding flash. And you know as well as I do, up here on the St. Lawrence River, the majority of the forage here that is a shiner or minnow or whatever is really, really tiny. If you're ever up here in the fish upchuck like bait, if it's not a yellow perch or a goby, it's a tiny little, you know, I don't know if it's an emerald shiner, I don't know what it is, but they're tiny little shiners. And that blade is real small. So I don't know. And the color schemes, dude, it has all that little glitter in the back of every one of them. I'm a huge fan of like the theory of when a bait gets hit, like the scales fly off the bait and it like puts this like glittery flash in the water. And I think with a twitching like that and they see that sparkle combined with that flash, I think it triggers some instincts on those big ones where they just can't refuse it, man. It makes them really, really angry.
Yeah, I was curious about, you know, because I haven't fished it yet, but I am going to fish it now. I got a couple in. Chad sent me a couple for the show to do the show, and then when I saw them and I got them, I'm like, high quality hooks, split rings, paint jobs, and so I went all in yesterday because I figured after we talk about it and they're promoting it pretty heavy that there may not be any left. So
wait, you're still buying stuff from the company that you work for full time, Frank?
Yeah, Matt,
we had this talk last month.
Can't go down this road.
Make a call. Say, hey, hook me up with some of these jerk baits. You don't have to be using our 15% discount code for yourself. Like you're literally buying the baits that you're painting and that you're talking about.
Correct, but they do stuff for me. I don't pay for everything. You know what I mean? Is that Pro Blue?
Yeah. Do you love this?
Yeah.
Look how amazing this color is. Look at that thing, dude. Again, it's got
your favorite colors. Is that like one of your top three? Like if you're just going to pick up two to try them, is that definitely one of them?
That's definitely one of them, dude.
No, Kyle, you haven't thrown them yet, Frank.
I know, but that's one of my favorite colors right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that one. I only brought a few out of the boat, and obviously the Sexy Shad one. This one literally made me a believer within 30 minutes of fishing it. I was converted to a flashpoint user within 30 minutes because of that Sexy Shad. But this is a deep diver. We haven't got this one out. We're still working on these, but they sent me that one because I liked the shallow one so much. I got a deep one, and this. Yeah.
Obviously, the smallmouth. I mean, the jerk bait is no secret for smallmouth. We've seen what KVD and what a number of guys have done. It's one of the oldest lures in the book. But would you agree that over the past 2 years, and like I said, you're an Oklahoma dude, but it seems to me like a lot of the world is realizing, smallmouth are minnow and bait fish oriented, where for so many years it seemed, I mean, at least for me, crawfish patterns, tubes, crawfish crankbaits, bottom stuff, Ned rig. And now it seems like every single major event is dominated by jerk baits and minnows, and not just on alewife lakes like Champlain. You're seeing it on the St. Lawrence. We saw it on Leech. We're seeing it on all of the major smallmouth fisheries, that these things like minnows a lot.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. All my smallmouth fishing, even drop shotting, I'm imitating minnows mostly.
But you've done that for years, Frank. Yeah. That's not like new to you. Because when I first started smallmouth fishing, it was crayfish.
No, dude, I caught more big smallmouths on crankbaits than practically any lure I own. Crankbaits and jerkbaits. Like there was a tournament on Erie that I wound up taking fourth in it, and I caught every one of them on a rogue. Yeah, back in the old days before we even knew anything about I mean, we didn't even, way back then, technology was just evolving. We didn't even know what we know now today.
Interesting. So you're up just there, just hanging out and having fun now? You got a buddy there and you're just catching fish? I mean, what?
Yeah, that's it, man. My wife and I fell in love with this place. This is our 3rd year. We fell in love with this Clayton, New York, the village of Clayton, and me, obviously, the St. Lawrence River. But my wife started getting into yoga 3 years ago here. She made a bunch of friends. She comes back. She goes to yoga. She loves all the little coffee shops. And obviously the scenery and the sunsets right here are like incredible. And the fishing's just phenomenal. But yeah, we're just hanging out here. We came here straight after St. Clair. So we've been here since the very end of July. And we're not until September 12th. I got to go back to Oklahoma to do an engineering conference. And, otherwise, I'd stay a couple more weeks, but I don't want to be here when it gets real cold.
No, you don't.
So I don't know if you're allowed. So you came on 5 minutes earlier and you're talking about what you've been catching them on this week. Are you cool with talking about that? Because that's kind of badass. Yeah,
I'm cool with talking about it. I won't give up all the details, but we can darn sure talk about it.
It's one of Frank's favorite baits that's been since it came out.
Oh, I bet. He seems like that kind of.
Say what you want about it, but I mean it's a multi-bait rig, right?
Yeah. The flash mob. Yep. For sure. Yeah. No, it's every year when we go to a new stop or an old stop, as an angler, you're always trying to figure out something a little different, and the A-rig's come and gone, everybody banned it or they didn't ban it or they eliminated it to 3 hooks or 2 hooks or whatever they've done to it. But the bottom line is over the years, you start to realize which baits have the most draw power. And the Flash Mob Junior has an incredible draw power.
Yeah.
It's just like a glide bait and a jerk bait. They can't resist coming and inspecting it and often eating it. And so anytime you can employ those baits, I think you set yourself up to have an advantage over the rest of your competitors, period. But you can't always use them,
No, it's a definitely a tool, and it's a lot of fun to fish. I mean, I've had the best year I had with the Flash Mob was 2 years ago. That was the best year I had with it. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of gravitated to the jerkbait more than the Flash Mob, because we got so much fishing pressure here, especially in the cold months where everyone says you're supposed to throw it. We got so much fishing pressure here with it that they see them all the time. And so I started going jerk baiting on them and changing some of the tactics on how I'm fishing the jerk bait and where I'm fishing the jerk bait. And it's been insanely effective. So I'm not going to blow the whistle on that because I'll ruin it for myself here. Because all our lakes, dude, where we live, they're about this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have water. We have nothing except a big lake.
So in this last one, you also threw the one of the baits that I threw a lot last week in the open on leech. I caught 9. I wish I'd caught 10. If I'd caught 10, it would have been about a $15,000 difference, but that's neither here nor there. But so I accidentally got them because they were supposed to be sent to Frank and they got sent to my house. And then I was like, can we just send like more to Frank? And then I can just like keep these. And they were like, yeah, no problem. So I get there and leech, and the very first smallmouth I catch on a flatworm spits up this minnow, and it's got a line down its back, and it's called a spot tail shiner, I think, is what the guy I was staying with said. And I said, well, by God, that new 3, I said, there's a freaking GLF drop minnow that looks exactly like this spot tail minnow. And I put it on, and that's the one right there. That's the one.
Yeah, that's smelt.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Huh. So you know exactly which one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, this is new this year to ICAST, this color, and this has quickly become one of my go-tos. Yep.
But that also played in your second place finish on the St. Lawrence last week.
Yeah. I definitely feel like, for me, I like to have deep fish and shallow fish here. And for me, your shallow fish, you can target them all kinds of different ways. You can still target them with a drop shot if you want. I chose to target them with a jerk bait, but you can. There's all kinds of different ways. People target them with a hair jig, spy bait. Wacky worms even play here. Nico rigs, Ned rigs. It don't matter. You can fish these shallow fish however you want. I love jerk bait fishing. Me and Frank understand that. We're gonna probably throw a jerk bait at shallow fish if they'll bite it. And then on your deep fish, you got your fish that are just roaming on deep shoals and humps and stuff like that, and they're just roaming. And so there are all kinds of ways you can target those fish. But when you see an isolated boulder with a stack of fish sitting behind it, that's when I'd pick up the drop shot. Like, yeah, I can bring a lot of baits by that boulder. I can put a Demiki on there, whatever. But if I wanted to truly sit there and not move, but be neutrally buoyant like the GLF products are, I can get that drop shot right there, let that minnow be off the bottom. And even though the current's moving, my bait is not. I dead stick that. I try to leave a little slack in my line. And I think I hate even saying this. I feel like one of the things people do really wrong up here when fishing deep is their leader line. It's not, to me, what an 8-pound leader, whatever, but the length of your leader totally dictates what kind of control you have over that bait, especially if you're going to fish it 50 foot deep. So if you're targeting a boulder 50 foot deep and you have an 8-foot leader, 10-foot leader, I don't care what it is. If it's less than 50 foot, it's grabbing your braided line and it is pulling your bait to some level. The more braid you got in the water, the more it's pulling your bait. So if you truly need your bait to sit still and you're fishing 50 foot deep, guess what length leader I think you should have? You should have a 50-foot leader, because understand how much braid gets pulled by current and wind and everything else. So a lot of people lose the ability to control their bait down deep here because their leader length is too short.
You're talking about not the leader length from the hook to the drop shot weight. You're talking about the braid to fluorocarbon leader length.
Yep. And yeah, you might have to snip off 60 foot of fluorocarbon because it gets twisted up or whatever at the end of your day or whatever. But to me, I gain more control over my bait because I've got fluorocarbon under the water instead of braid in a currented situation, trying to keep my weight to stay put.
So let me ask you a question. Why not just go to a heavier weight?
So I also, it works. Like, you could go to a 1/2 ounce or even 3/4, I guess, if you want, or 5/8. But I think rate of fall is important still. I still feel like a fast rate of fall sometimes triggers more bites or triggers less bites. But I feel like that heavier weight gets hung up way more than I like. And there's a lot of times that you want your bait to naturally be flowing with the current on those drifts. So I think there's a time and a place for that heavier drop shot weight.
Gotcha.
But
Kyle's asking, he said, but isn't braid smaller diameter, so there would be actually less drag than the fluorocarbon?
Except it floats.
It floats. That's the problem. It floats, and I in my mind, I feel like if it's in current, it's like being in wind. So if you ever cast a loopy line of braid in the wind, or you throw a topwater, watch it just drag that braid and just take it and just pull your bait all across the surface. Whereas if you're throwing fluorocarbon or something, that won't happen. That's how it works in my mind.
So you're basically running straight fluoro in a sense, or are you getting the bait so far out that you're still using the braid to reduce stretch?
Literally, my braid to fluorocarbon knot oftentimes is sitting in the tip of my rod because I'm fishing like 50 foot deep and I've got a little slant in it, and I'll have like 60 foot of leader on it.
So you're fishing with straight fluoro?
Yeah, basically fishing with straight fluoro.
Okay, interesting. I know a couple other guys who are all in on that. They swear by it.
Yeah.
They change it every single night.
Yep.
And they'll go straight fluoro for smallmouth. I also know guys who will literally tie a barrel knot to their drop shot leader, and it'll be high vis gold to your hook. And I'm like, that doesn't look right either.
I know that bothers me.
I think the coolest thing about our sport is how everybody can be their own artist. We can come up with our own theories and our own techniques. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's what makes us confident in ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we can share our ideas and thoughts, and people might think we're crazy. People might get on board with it. But at the end of the day, if it
Well, you've got the results. I mean, look at their results. I mean, you got the proof is in the, what is the saying, Frank?
Pudding.
The proof is in the pudding.
Pudding.
Yeah.
Or where you guys are from, pudding.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, as far as your background. So I feel like there's a lot of people who they're like, I'm not a smallmouth guy. You see a lot of guys on tour like that who are just like, oh, I just have to survive up north. Other guys are. Then there's guys who are smallmouth guys who are like, how the hell did that guy like figure it out? Are you like, how did you end up from down here where we have like Murray, Arbuckle, Texoma, and used to have Eufaula, to Champlain being your favorite lake in the world and St. Lawrence River being your second favorite place in the world?
Yeah, I don't know. I growing up, I fished 10 killer quite a bit.
Yeah, 10 killer.
10 killer's got a lot of smallmouth in it, but they definitely behave totally different. But for me, like, catching a smallmouth has always been like such a cool thing, like above and beyond a largemouth. So when I was young, if we did catch a brown one, it was like, oh my gosh, what a cool, beautiful, awesome. And they're twice as strong, and they're twice like, it almost like, held it to this, like,
dude, I remember weighing one in on Eufaula that was smaller than a largemouth I caught in the Lake Thunderbird Wednesday night championship, just because we wanted to weigh in a smallmouth.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I believe it. You wanted to show people. And when I was growing up, my dad and I, we used to take this trip down Elk River in Missouri, upstream of Grand Lake, Elk River, like Knoll, Missouri.
Which is why there aren't smallmouth in Grand, because there are smallmouth in the Elk River.
Right. And they're river strain. They're never going to get big or whatever. They're long, lengthy fillers. But we would float. I call them He-Man trips. We'd float like 20, 30 miles, and we'd just stop somewhere in the river that night, camp, burn a fire, boil crawdads that we caught under rocks, stick a stick in a goggle eye, cook him till his eyeball pops, flip him, cook him till his other eyeball pops, and get back on the river. But we did that solely to catch smallmouth, dragging little Jean LaRue salt crawls on the bottom. And for me, growing up, it was the best trip ever because it was almost all smallmouth. And so I've always loved them. So you fast forward into making my way up north, where literally it is the mecca of smallmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Is so enthralled with it. I just had to figure out how to do it well. Like, it was just, I wanted to do it more than anything. And maybe that's where it fell into place. I also think, for whatever reason, God makes us all different. But, like, I feel like I understand them. Like, when I think smallmouth's probably going to do this, it seems to be right. And so it starts to build confidence in you. And I told Frank this on another call, that, like, I think spotted bass and smallmouth have a lot in common in a weird way, as far as like how I predict how a bass will behave. I think spotted bass are kind of predictable in my mind, a lot like a smallmouth is. But largemouth, man, they trick my butt a lot, so I just don't like them as much.
Look at this, Frank. I know you haven't seen this, and you guys can't see this, but this is Kyle's top 10s, impressive 13 top 10s. And it starts off, I'm sure it was Toyotas and BFLs, Arkansas River, Rayburn, Arkansas River, Fort Gibson, brutal tournament. Like, there should never be a major tournament on Fort Gibson. Does not handle pressure, is small. I despise that as a big field tournament lake anywhere but Fort Gibson, for the love of God. Amistad, back to Fort Gibson. There's some spots at Am I wrong, Kyle? Am I wrong? I know you've had top 10s there, but it is a horrible big field multi-day tournament lake. Probably the worst in the country.
Man, I've only had 2 tournaments there, and I tied for first place, and I got the second place money, and I got second place. So you are not going to get me to vote Fort Gibson off the list.
But will you not agree that it is a horrible multi-day big field venue?
It's too small.
There you go. All right, back to this. Sorry, that was a little tangent there, Frank. Well, no, you'll never see it because I
I
won't
won't
take you
see
there.
it. No,
No,
if I
the
come
only
down,
thing that I have good to say about Fort Gibson is that I hooked a freaking world record paddlefish on a 12-pound test in a BFL 20 years ago and fought it for 3 hours because I knew it was a line class record. And then I hooked it in Jackson Bay and it broke me off on the damn bridge. That's how far I played it.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
got a
that's what, a mile and a half.
Every bit.
It was blowing. I mean, it was blowing. So I was going like 4 miles an hour. Anyway, long story short, let's get back to this here. How do I do?
Yeah, I mean, Champlain is probably one of my favorite lakes in the world.
So listen to this. So
All right, go ahead.
Amistad, Fort Gibson, Lewis Smith. These are your last top 10s. Champlain, 2022, 8th. St. Lawrence River, 10th. Champlain, 3rd. St. Lawrence River, Champlain, St. Lawrence River. You have not had a non-smallmouth top 10 since you did the spotted bass on Lewis Smith back in 2021. All the rest, Champlain, Thousand Islands. So you know what you're talking about with the smallmouth.
Yeah, and I'm scared to death to go back home and fish Oklahoma. I think I've totally forgotten how that might go down for me. So
I wouldn't. That's not what the scary part is. What the scary part is that you ain't catching them like you are up there. That's the scary part.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's the minnow right here, right? Yeah, that's the minnow right there.
That's it.
So that's available. Let me make sure I get this right. That's available right now in the 2.75. I was catching them on the 3.25, which was an iCast release in July and is not available on the website. But the exact same minnow in a smaller version is available.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, do they have the flashpoint up there?
Yeah, I've been showing it all show.
Hey, how many SKUs are there? How many? Is there 12, 14?
No, there's like 95.
What I just saw.
It's insane.
So I haven't seen them all in person. The ones they had at iCast, they must have not had them all.
Hold on, let me pull it up. All right, there it is.
Cool.
Shop early access. Look at how many colors there are.
Yeah, so here, I got 3 colors that you don't have, I think, Kyle. So let me see. This color here is copper shad.
Okay, I've got that one in a deep diver.
All right, how about pro pink? Do you got pro pink?
No, I've got canary, which is really looking color, by the way.
Yeah.
Hold
okay,
on, Frank, I gotta go full screen on you. All right.
All right. So here's pro pink. So you squint at your camera.
Okay. So that's like a pearlescent pink.
Yeah, I got a sun glare coming in here. But it's like a pearlescent pink. It's semi-transparent. It's got the belly's solid white pearl. This one's beautiful.
I don't know if I've ever seen a better lineup in jerkbait colors than what is present with these flashpoint. It's insane. Every one of them I grab, I start to drool, and I want to go on.
That's 100% what happened to me when I went and got them. So, and this one is Vegas, which is another color that I really like a lot.
That's the gold one. I couldn't remember the color of it. I have it, and I'd already taken out of the pack. So, Matt, you'll these have a gold blade.
Yes, in the head.
Silver blade. So there is a difference in some of the colors.
Okay, so there's pictures. This is a conundrum. There's pictures on LureNet of 25 different colors.
On the color point?
Yes, the color options are 12.
Do you think is there multiple pictures of the same color, just a different look?
Yeah, they do. They have 2 pictures of every color. So what they have is they'll have the side image picture like this, and then they have this picture.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm sorry, folks.
And that's the copper shiner.
Yeah, this is another color that I like a lot.
Yeah,
you're
right.
Caught them on that already. Yeah, I've already caught some on that.
See, I have some lakes that I fish that are really, really, really color sensitive. And so when I see something that I need, I know what lake it's for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing I think it's before I forget is I have to talk about these hooks, Matt. Like, if you're a jerkbait angler, hooks you find are like the most important thing to you. Like for years, in fact, every year, I'm asking other people about what is your favorite jerkbait hook? What are you finding success in? Because inevitably, I go through like these phases where I fall in love with the Ichikawas or the G Finesse or the, you know, lately I like the Nano. The Nano treble was really doing well. But then you lose a few in a row or something, and all of a sudden your confidence is just shot. It's just the craziest thing. But for me, it is what happens with a jerkbait. So I've never used these hooks before, and they're BKK hooks. So, Matt, I don't know if you've used BKK hooks before.
Yeah.
I am mind blown how good these work on these, like, violent smallmouth up here. Like, that first day I was telling you about, like, this is the jerkbait that caught them all. These hooks, there is one hook in the middle treble that finally rolled a little bit, and I tried to sharpen it. The other 8 are like sharp as lightning, tacky. They're not torqued. They're not bent. I've not had to bend them back in place yet. This jerkbait alone has already done its job. He should be able to be retired as far as I'm concerned from a jerkbait standpoint. It doesn't sink, and the hooks are still incredible. Like it blew my mind. I shot 40 minutes worth of fish catches the other day on them. And I'm just torquing on them. I anchor mode in the current, and I'm like wrenching them up into the current, 4 and 5 pounders, like trying to pull the hooks free, trying to straighten the hook out, trying to bend them, just to put like the end user in a place of confidence that the hooks hang on to big smallmouth, even in current. They're really impressive.
I was trying to figure out, are they Japanese hooks?
I don't know all I know is it says they're BKK hooks. Yeah. I think BKK might be Japanese.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A buddy of mine
said today BKK counts on factory employees some 600 strong, an office in Japan and an office in Shanghai, managing international sales and branding. Europe, China, Southeast Asia. Yeah, they've made a big impact in the industry recently.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine that sent me some of those hooks a long time ago to look at. And I was pretty impressed with them, but I only had 4 hooks. And so I never really, went out to make an order for them, but they were pretty impressive. And the fact that they're on these jerkbaits is pretty good, because now I don't have to buy a jerkbait and change all the hooks out all the time.
You 100%. This is going to be the first jerkbait that I pull out of the box and throw it out there, tournament ready to go. And I have the utmost confidence the hooks aren't going to be what fails me if I lose the fish.
All right. I'll throw this up one more time. We've talked a lot about it. Then we're going to let Kyle get back to catching walleye. So he hasn't mentioned this, but he's been very gracious with his time, Frank, because you're on a mega school of giant walleye and you had to leave them with your buddy catching 7 to 8 pounders every single cast to come do this show.
Oh my God.
It was insane.
Frank wouldn't be here, Kyle.
The last thing
showed.
The last thing we did is he hooked into one and he's like, "Oh, it's a big one," and I see it, and I'm literally reeling mine in, and then I get a bite. I was like, "Oh, mine's bigger," and we're fighting these 2 like 8-pound walleyes the boat, and we've only got one Bubba net, and so like I net his, and he's like, "What are you gonna do with yours?" I was like, "Let's net them both." He's like, "I got a video of this," so he starts videoing, and we're catching them on Flash Mob Juniors, dude. Giant walleye, just crushing them. 20-pound fluorocarbon, 7'10" heavy. Just give them the business, dude. And I literally net 2 8-pound walleye. Actually, they weighed like 770s or something. 2 big walleye with 2 Flash Mob Juniors, 10 hooks, because we ain't in the tournament no more, and it's a 5-hook state in New York. And they're in there just flopping around, just catastrophe, dude. And we've already had our limit, and we're just catching, releasing, having fun. And then I caught like a 580 smallmouth mixed in the school. A buddy of mine like deep dives here, like free dives, not deep dives, free dives. And he swims around down there like 20 plus foot deep. I don't know how he gets that deep. Like I think my ears would bleed, but like he gets down there like 20 plus foot deep and videotapes all of this stuff. Crazy what he tells me he sees. I mean, literally the schools, it's just a community of fish down there. It's drum, walleye, smallmouth. Everything is just coexisting down there. Small smallmouth, big smallmouth. They're not grouped up in size, and they're just coexisting down there. So it makes it hard if you're a bass fisherman, you know, when you see a school of fish, telling yourself they're one species or the other, and you got this buddy you're saying, no, it's all of them. So, like, now I see a school of 20, I'm like, I wonder how many are smallmouth, you know, like
Right.
smallmouth and 8 drum, and like, because if it's a school of drum, I feel like it's easy to tell. But when there's like a pack of 20 or 30 on the backside of a ledge 50 foot deep, you can't tell. You just know that there's fish separation on the bottom or on the backside of the current seam, and it's really neat to know that they just coexist like that. You would, I don't know, I've always been narrow-minded and thought it's the fish I'm after no matter what, but
No, that's called positive thinking.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like scuba diving in an aquarium.
So I literally found this school of fish like 2-3 weeks ago, and I caught a couple of really big smallmouth in it. And they're so far away that I didn't end up fishing them in the tournament. But I told my buddy that I thought we could maybe catch 25 to 30 pounds of smallmouth there based on what I'd seen, and I hadn't touched them.
Right there.
So we get there, and I find them. I'm like, there they are, dude. And they look, dude, I get them to come up and look at a jerkbait. And I was like, dude, they're acting like walleye. You know, walleye, they get up on a jerkbait kind of slow, and you twitch the jerkbait, and then they kind of slow. And it don't matter what the speed of the current is or nothing. Them walleye are just kind of slow. And they weren't doing any of the smallmouth stuff. I was like, dude, I know these were smallmouth. Like, I caught them. I was like, but these are acting like walleye. I was like, maybe they'll eat the A-rig. Maybe they'll eat the Flash Mob Jr. Dude, we pick it up and roll it over that shoal. It's like, dude, they just rip it out of, they rip the whole rod out of your hands, dude. Like, and I don't know. We were actually tired of it. Like, he was kind of glad we were done because it wears you plumb out, and then you've got this mess to deal with at the end. And you're kind of like, you want to just go catch some smallmouth for a little while? So, yeah, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. Small funny story. First of all, he got a ticket. I picked him up in the airport, and he was so excited. I picked him up with the boat. We're just going fishing. I picked him up at 3 p.m. He wants to maximize his time. We get out in the water. We're fishing this spot, and I hear him go, I'm about to get a ticket. I went, huh? And I kind of heard him. I was like, what? No, we're not going to get a ticket. And this guy pulls up on us, police, whatever, officially. He checks us, and in the middle of looking at my license, my buddy just goes, I don't have a license. And then I realized what he said. He literally said, I'm going to get a ticket. I thought he was joking, like we were going to, but he literally knew he was going to get a ticket because he forgot to buy a license. So it was pretty cool. The guy was cool. He said it's going to be anywhere between $0 and $250, depending on what they decide when you go. It's like a speeding ticket. You like go to court with it, or not go to court, but you can go to the courthouse and pay or something. Anyway, he tried to do that just now, and they're closed for the Labor Day weekend. So now he doesn't know still if it's $0 or $250. But he has his license now, and I don't know. We'll see how that goes for him.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. You're in the biggest body of water on the planet, and you get pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah. He said he I don't know. He said he forgot. I ain't so sure if he just wasn't trying to roll the dice, but he said he forgot. So
how long are you there for? You just like learning, getting better at it, hanging out, like you said with the wife up there?
Yeah. I'm here till September 12th. So my buddy.
Oh God.
Oh,
it's a long time, Kyle.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what I was gonna say. So my buddy, he wanted walleye so bad that on his plane he brought a personal item and a carry-on, and his personal item is a soft-sided cooler with nothing in it because he read you can transport frozen meat. And we're literally going to freeze these fillets in Ziploc bags. And he's got like 12 hours worth of flying to do, but it's literally going to be a soft-sided cooler with just frozen walleye fillets in it. And he's just going to be carrying it around all the airports with no dry ice, no nothing. That's going to slowly be melting the whole trip. And I can't wait to see how it turns out for him.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic for him. 12 hours in a soft side. Yeah.
Yeah, I told him keep it on the floor. Don't put it in the overhead anyway. People start getting water dripping.
You get the cheek meat out, Kyle.
Oh, so I've done that several times, Matt. and I'll be honest, I don't know if it's worth the effort required.
Yes, it is 100%. It's
think-
criminal to throw especially if you're like I've always said with walleye, the bigger they are, I think the genetics are more tasty. And the cheek meat, when you get a big I'll get like 3 walleye anglers that are like, screw you. You gotta do the cheek meat. You have to. Dude, in a 4-pound walleye, it's the size of a scallop. You literally just take your knife and just go zoop, and then you grab it and then peel it off with your hand. Like, it's the easiest thing ever.
It looks all like pearl. It looks like
and then you don't do it regular. Light, 1 egg, little bit of whole milk, and then light flour on either side, hand salt and pepper it, and then you want to melt Irish butter in a pan, but put a little bit of oil down first because the burning point of oil is higher. It'll keep the butter from burning. And then you want to saute those like a scallop. So you don't want to overdo them or else they get rubbery. So you want to do them just lightly on either side until they're light brown. Pull them off, paper towel, hit them with a shot of lemon, little bit of salt, little bit of pepper on top of it. It is the best appetizer in the history of food.
Or you could go back to one of the old episodes and get my walleye cheek chowder recipe.
Ooh.
But you need to catch a lot of walleyes and have a lot of cheeks.
Well, dude, the size of the walleye they're catching, and then I dice them up real small. So it's like clams, and you make it like clam chowder, only it's walleye cheek chowder.
You should get a ticket if you don't keep the cheek meat, Kyle. Like, you literally just take it and you just do it right around it, and then it pulls right off of the skin. Like, it's just like you're peeling an apple.
I understand the concept. I don't think you peel an apple like that, but I understand what you're saying.
What do we do this like that?
A peach.
I mean, maybe I do.
A peach is a way better.
Yeah. Take this,
or an avocado.
Apple and put off an apple. You better throw the damn apple away. But I gotta, because I have to eat as much, if not more, fish than like 98% of the world. There's no doubt. I live in a fifth wheel down by every river and every lake, and that's all I eat is fish. My wife gets so tired of me putting more fish in the freezer. She's like, "It's full already. I don't have room for my ice, or whatever." But what is so much better? Like, I understand a yellow perch. The taste of a fillet of a yellow perch to me is way beyond the flavor of any other piece of meat out there.
I agree.
On a flathead, I'm a big noodler. I love hand fishing. On a flathead, the belly meat on a flathead is way beyond better than any flavor of any other part of the flathead or any other fish in Oklahoma. It beats crappie, dude. It beats crappie and walleye in Oklahoma, hands down. The belly meat of a flathead catfish. But when I eat the jowl or the cheek of a walleye, I've yet to notice that it's different than like the shoulder of the walleye. Like, you're telling
chewy.
You lick that cheek muscle and you're like, zing! It's like it does that to you.
It's good. It's totally different. It's like a scallop. It's a freshwater scallop.
All right.
But I will agree with you. Now, on your perch, are you a skin on and scale guy, or will you just straight fillet him? Okay.
I fillet everything except, like, I've been having fun, like, trying like stuff on the half shell. Like, I took some Smith Lake striper, like a couple of small ones, like 6-7 pounders, and I literally cooked them on the half shell, like in my air fryer, just to try something fun and different, but for the most part, I fillet everything.
Yeah.
What about you, Frank? Do you keep your skin on your perch?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Bluegill, I'll scale them and eat the skin on a bluegill. There you go.
So that's a Bass Cat live well, Kyle. So it was the final day of practice at Champlain for that Bass Nation. I was trying to find the winning pattern, and I came across these things, and they were 12.5 to 14-inch yellow
Monster.
perch.
Yes.
And I was done practicing at that point. And I came in, with about 15 of them and just feasted.
Do you ever eat the eggs of the yellow perch?
No, you can do that, Frank?
Yeah, I got a bunch of perch. I brought them home, and my mom said, "Did you clean them yet?" And I said, "No, I'm about to." And she goes, "Bring the eggs to me." And I said, "Okay." So I saved all the roe sacks, brought them over to her, and she goes, "I'm going to cook some of these up. Don't go anywhere." And yeah, dude, and they were phenomenal. They were
just
phenomenal.
by themselves, lightly floured and breaded.
Lightly floured. That's it. And they were good.
So deep fried. They were fried.
Yeah, she fried them in a pan. She lightly breaded them. She didn't put eggs on them or nothing. She just soaks them in cold water, shake them off, throw them in the flour, and then fried them up in a pan with a little bit of oil.
Hey, somebody just called me a fish bonker. What is a fish bonker?
It means that you eat fish. You're not like one of the guys who refuses to, like you.
Oh.
When you catch one, you want to keep your you bonk. That's what I took it to mean.
Yeah. I like walleyes. Like I keep the walleyes between 2 and 3.5 pounders.
Mm-hmm.
I catch those big 8-pounders. I can't. I like the smaller ones better. I can't eat them big sloppy ones.
Crappie, I understand that. Like if I catch a 2.5 pound crappie or bigger, like
I'm the same way with the crappie.
Yeah, maybe
am
I walleye thing wrong by keeping all these?
I can attest that. No. So when I was there, I just went to Thousand Islands this year fun fishing, Kyle, and I caught an 813 out of 55 feet of water.
Yep.
And when it came out, it didn't have its air bladder; it had its stomach in its throat.
Oh, wow!
And I tried to release it, and I mean, it was belly up, drifting with the current, limp. So I mean, I didn't have an option. I would have released it if I could.
Yep.
It was pretty damn good.
Oh, dude. So I'm fizzing. I'm fizzing walleye. Like as soon as I catch it, I'm fizzing them just like smallmouth, and they're going to the bottom of my live well and just loving life. That was a whole nother topic I'd love to do sometime. Is the whole fizzing deal. I've been on a big kick about trying to push that conservation effort and get with Barb Elliott up here. And
yeah, I mean, fizzing the smallmouth is very important. I hate to see the smallmouth die for nothing. It's just, it's the fishery where you're at right now, you say is just so huge and it won't get impacted because of the small season time for them. But I saw it happen here. I saw the impact here, and it was twofold. There was 2 reasons for it. One, at the time, if you can believe it or not, at the time, the walleye fishery was in decline. And so the charter captains started targeting the smallmouths because there were billions of them up here. So the charter guys started targeting smallmouth. And then, of course, all the tournament trails started coming up here, and there were tournament trails every weekend up here, 200 plus boats every weekend. This fishery today is nowhere near as good as it was 8 years ago, not even close. It's coming back in certain areas. But so when I see, the guys, they post their stuff and they're like, 45 feet, 50 feet. You hope they're fizzing them. You hope they're taking care of them, because the delayed mortality rate on a smallmouth, especially in the warm months, is insanely high.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Kyle, 100%.
I feel like a lot of the northern anglers are real adamant about it. They know how, they're passionate about it. They do it just with that instinctively. When I come up here and I draw co-anglers, they got their needle, they stick it in the carpet by my boat, and they're poking the fish as soon as they catch it. Like it's just understood up here. But you get anglers like me that have had to go through kind of a weird learning curve, through the throat, the big bends mender needle, and you kill some fish every now and then because you miss by a 1/4 inch, and you
the same way.
Vital to a fish. The blood flow and everything goes around the gullet of the fish. Everything that you could kill the fish with in the blood flow is centered around the throat and the gullet. You can successfully fizz a fish in the throat and get really good at it, but you're going to kill several before you figure out how to do that. And the last thing you want to do is start teaching people that way when there is a much safer, less risky way to do it. And I've got some really cool pictures. I'll send to you. We should do this. I've got some pictures of some dissected bass that died from barrel trauma, not being fizzed. The air bladder consumes, yes, Barb's Fizz Kit. I've got some cool, Barb dissected some fish, Matt, and I've got some awesome pictures of what those fish look like when they're not fizzed. And it tells the whole story. And it also tells you how it's safe it is to fizz them in the side. There's nothing you can hit. It is, you go under scale, you go through skin, muscle, and air bladder. You cannot hurt that fish. You cannot kill that fish. All you can do is help that fish survive by putting it on that landmark that she shows in that sheet. And when you're going through the throat, it's just so high risk. You need to quit doing it. Don't use the big needles.
No.
Fizz them in the side. And the second you do it one time with somebody that shows you how, you'll be so thankful because you're going to appreciate keeping a fish alive that you love. Like if you're an angler, dude, you want these fish. And every fish I weighed in the St. Lawrence River needed to be fizzed and got fizzed within the first 5 minutes of being caught, if not before I even stood up to make another cast. Every one of my fish came in black, tiger striped. I'm talking violent, like grab them by the lip and they shake and I pull them out of the live well. And in the prior years when I first got up here, man, I had the big men's mender needle. That didn't have the plunger. That plunger's a big deal to be able to keep that thing clean. You stick it in the fish and no air comes out because it got clogged, and you pull it out, you stick it again. Next thing you know, you don't have any confidence in yourself, so you go through the throat and then you hit something in the throat. So there's a lot to it, but it's very simple and you need to learn how to do it. And there's literally, I made a video with Barb on my YouTube channel and we fished fish and we talked about it, and she's so smart. And she's so involved and 70 years old and donates so much time and her money just trying to teach people how.
Yeah, I actually saw that video. It's insanely informative. It's a great video.
It's great. She has the normal mishaps anybody would. The fish moves. She sticks a scale. The fish flops around with the needle in it. The fish is fine. It doesn't hurt the fish.
Right.
All because it's going to happen to everybody. But what was really cool of it is a guy, I think, that knows how to build websites and stuff, reached out to her after that. And he just built her a website where it's really easy to get on and order needles from. And you might could Google it and find it. I don't know off the top of my head. If I could use my phone, I'd tell you. But I think it's like barbsbestfishkits.com. And she's so before it was really hard to find Barb. You heard about her. She was the fizz lady. You had to find a buddy that had her contact info, and she would quickly send it to you, but then you had to PayPal or Venmo her. Yeah, that's the video.
Yeah.
And dude, I learned so much that day. The third fish in that video was sitting right side up in the live well, but it was at the surface. Like its back was kind of out of the water, but it looked fine. She's like, nah, this is the one that people miss. Like that fish needs to be fizzed. It's struggling, and it's, but the pictures that I saw, that air bladder consumes all the way back to the anal pore, all the way up to their throat, and it basically suffocates all the other organs. The heart can't pump. Nothing good can happen to that fish. The second you put it in the live well, that fish is slowly dying. It's suffocating itself. And what happens is the heart doesn't pump its full arrhythmia anymore. The pH gets off, and it poisons the whole fish. It poisons itself because the oxygen level throws off the pH. And I know a lot of big name anglers, to be honest, bring 5 fish to the scales and they don't fizz them. And they say, I've never lost one. I'm like, yeah, but that fish is dead, man. Like you caused long-term trauma to that fish's heart and other organs that, yeah, it may have been classified as a live fish when you brought it in, but the fish didn't make it, man. And those guys, I had that conversation with somebody at this last event, and you're in denial if you think that you did your part as an angler, especially one that people might look up to. You need to take the time to learn how to do this. It's real simple. And if you want to protect this resource, and all the anglers need to, especially the ones that are in limelight, just take the time to learn how to do this, dude. Save the fish, man. It's really simple. And it's really cool. It's the most rewarding thing ever. If you've ever had the opportunity to bring an animal back to life or save an animal's life in any scenario, it's a rewarding feeling immediately.
Yeah, I mean, the video's good. It's very informative. It shows you literally everything you need to know. It's not complicated. The thing too is that like a lot of the tackle shops around don't carry fizz kits. It's kind of a pain in the neck item for them, or I don't know why they don't carry them. I was at a local tackle shop the other day, Fisherman Central. If anyone's from, the Cleveland, Akron, Canton area, they actually had fizz kits with the needle insert and everything in them. So for you guys that are going to go out and catch these deep fish, if you don't have a fizz kit, you need to get one. And Barb's got a website too, right? Where they mail them out to you.
It just wasn't very easy. You couldn't order them. You couldn't pay for them or nothing. You still had to reach out to her and do a Venmo thing. But literally, like last week, a guy was messaging me. He built her a website right now. And I think it's like barbsbestfizzkit.com or something like that. And he built it for it. It's phenomenal. It's so easy. It shows all this stuff. In fact, it has pictures, Matt, on there that I was telling you about the dissected fish. You can see what it looks like when a fish suffering from barrel trauma is not released. You can see how it completely just leaves no room for the other organs to function. It literally does not leave any room for it. So it's a really cool website. If I'd have been more prepared, I'd have sent you the link for it because it might be hard to find.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
Matt can find anything.
There's a lot of stuff here with needles and pill bottles that.
Yeah, we could get canceled.
I don't know if I can step out of this. I think I can.
He'll go. Yeah, you'll go away. I'll look for it. I'll look for it later and put the link in, Kyle.
Okay.
You know what? We're gonna let you get back to fishing. You still have a couple a full afternoon. Anything else you wanted to get in here, Frank? Bringing Kyle in, great addition to today's show. Smallmouth. We got a little conservation in. We got busted some myths about. It was a good show today.
Yes, I'm glad. No, I had questions about an actual Flashpoint user until I could throw one myself and put my 2 cents in, and you answered a lot of the questions.
Yeah, I look forward to getting a phone call from you after you get to go out there and test it.
Oh, don't worry, you will.
All right, catch him up. Thanks for jumping on. I greatly appreciate it, Kyle. Congratulations on a great season 2 and winning the points in that Northern Division. There's a lot of guys who have done it for a lot of years that were fishing that division.
Thanks, man. I hope your Sooners win today so they can go undefeated until they see the Cowboys and we beat them again.
Don't even get me started on Big 12 titles. See ya.
Adios, my man. Thank you.
That was just a low blow.
Dude, he took the parting final shot.
Well, we got screwed with Lincoln Riley when they beat us because he was already headed to USC. And then I don't know. It was just.
Hey, the good news is, Matt, the season just started.
I'd be happy with a 9-3 Sooner season this year. I mean, we kind of got screwed in the SEC. We have the second hardest schedule. Of course, Texas got like the 13th easiest. They play like Vanderbilt 19 times. We're like Alabama, LSU, Tennessee. They're like Vanderbilt, Arkansas.
Yeah, Vanderbilt. Are they any good? They never were when I was growing up.
They're in the SEC.
They never were. But yeah, dude. I'm glad you're back now. We're gonna be live for.
Yeah, we'll be live next Thursday. We should be live the next Thursday after that.
Dude, I don't know how you're functioning on 0 sleep.
Okay, so I haven't shown this before, but I'm going to today. So, I got my Yeti here. So I stopped. One of the cool things today. Wait, no, not today. It would have been yesterday.
Get it together.
Yesterday, because I started driving yesterday at 7, but I had to go through Illinois to drop some stuff off at my buddy's because he was my co-angler and at the Open. And then he flew home because I went up to Canada, but I flew through, good Lord, I drove through Wisconsin. And one of the things about Wisconsin is they have a beer by the New Glarus Brewing Company called Spotted Cow.
Yes, I've had many a Spotted Cow.
I got 4 cases.
Good for you, dude.
I came home, I put one in the freezer, I chilled it out, and I've been having a little Spotted Cow.
You have to understand that reason that is it's because that is literally the only place they sell it.
They do not ship it. They do not sell it. They do not have it anywhere. You have to purchase or consume it in Wisconsin if you're going to.
Correct. And I did a trade show there, and I myself came home with several containers of spotted cow.
Yeah. I got to take care of some business and then I'll be on the couch. Hopefully I can make it through the entire game before I fall asleep.
Oh,
But,
and you're gonna sleep, dude.
Listen, a cool new jerk bait on the market from
Booyah.
from LureNet. Code is BTL, capital BTL 24, 15% off. You can get on the website and be the first people to get that. There were a couple questions. It's available now.
Right now.
The 3.25 GLF drop minnow. One of the things Kyle didn't mention about that I thought was important. See, I was thinking he was talking about leader length.
Yeah, I did too.
And what was important for me at Leech, now I caught 6 of my fish on something else, but I caught 3 on that GLF 3.25 drop minnow and smelt. And I used a really small number 1 Gamakatsu drop shot, split shot hook. And I am fully believe that one of the reasons was I was on high pressured lake, low fish population, was I could cast it next to the rock and I could let it go completely slack, and that minnow stayed neutrally buoyant.
Yeah, 100%.
And that was when Dan was literally on talking about the neutral buoyancy and why it worked so well. And then I could barely move it, and I knew that tail was just quivering, because it wasn't like they would follow it down and eat it. It's like you'd cast it next to the boulder and then you'd see them swim over to it.
Yeah, they just kind of appear on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And the cool thing about that is any movement in the water makes that bait quiver.
And it's made out of that weird plastic, and the nose doesn't rip out after one freaking fish.
No,
I literally had 2 packs. I gave 3 of them to a buddy, and I used 4 in 2 days and still had an 8-pack.
Yeah, that was the one thing that surprised me about that bait, is how durable it was. I was beside myself when I fished them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can catch a shit ton of fish on them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That should be their slogan.
Yeah. It could be.
Why not?
Hey, it worked for a hot sauce.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, nice to have you back, bud.
Yeah, now I got to get my life together. Thanks for jumping on this. I know you did what, Ike show?
Yeah, this morning, and we wound up going over. I almost had to cut because I looked at my phone. And
Was it live, or is it going to be out later?
It's going to be out later, I think. I hope. It was a good show. We reminisced about a lot of old time stuff that we've done, stuff that we talked a lot about, a lot of things, tournament trails, about all kinds of stuff. Told some stories. It was fun. It was a good time, but the time flew. And I didn't realize it. And he's like, "Oh, we've been on almost for 2 hours." I'm like,
"You're on your 3rd hour right now?"
Yeah.
3 straight hours of live streaming.
Not like nonstop. Like I got literally got off with him and jumped right on with you guys, because I almost missed it.
Well, go watch some college football. Pour yourself a cold one. One more question. Someone did ask, end of the month next week, will you be revealing the September
Thursday,
Frank Scaler? So next Thursday, you'll be revealing the drop.
Yeah.
Can you tease it without getting in trouble?
I'm an idiot, because I have it downstairs and I was going to bring it up and show it, but this pattern is going to be, it's a wounded baitfish pattern called Wounded Threadfin.
Ooh.
How's that for a tease?
I like it. They'll be available
Thursday. Yeah. And I'll have it to show on air Thursday morning.
Isn't that wild how a dude from Oklahoma can go up there and it like clicks?
Yeah.
Like that, I feel more comfortable up north than
because
anywhere else.
Yeah, well, it fishes your style, Matt.
Yeah. And that was before forward facing sonar.
Right. Same here. Champlain's one of my all-time favorite lakes. It's such a diverse fishery. I've caught smallmouth no 2 ways the same time every time I fished it. And it's so much fun. And I was at St. Lawrence a long time ago. I'm talking decades and decades ago. I was a young kid. I don't, and didn't know enough back then to
Next summer, can we do a trip?
100%.
And we'll do some shows and videos and stuff from there.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna do some cool different stuff for day 4, and we'll make it work. I think we'll have the ability.
One of the things that we are doing is a call and a some lures and a drawing for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction again. That in the coming weeks we'll have more info on that. And then
when do you need to know about?
Well, the auction is the 26th, so I probably need to know in the next week or two so they can get it on the website.
The 26th of
September.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
could literally pull any drawing out to the side and just a couple painted lures.
No, this ain't gonna be a drawing. I got 4 custom colors painted and autographed by me.
Really?
Yeah.
You have them already?
I have them in the basement.
Okay, yeah, no. Send them to me and I'll just shadow box them.
I have one more to paint.
Send them to me and I'll shadow box them. And instead of doing all 4, we'll do 4 separate auctions. So there's 4 people that have a chance to get one. And all the proceeds go to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Okay, that's fine with me, but my thought process was that collection of 4 would be.
Okay, yeah, we'll just do one with 4 then. It's your deal.
I mean, because my thought process was you'll have a 4-set crayfish collection.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. That would be and all the listeners, anybody can bid on it. It's on BidPal, and I'll have the link as soon as that goes live. It's the same thing we've done. I'm also doing the BTL experience, where you get to come in, spend the night, jump on BTL in the morning, in the winter, and then we'll go out and try to catch 30 pounds of largemouth or 2.5 pounds of crappie, depending on whatever you want to do.
Right. And then the person that bids on the lures will get
a guest spot on day 4.
Get to jump on day 4 with us.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to surprise you with it. I didn't realize it was coming up so soon. I'm glad I painted them before.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I just got one more to go, and I'm almost done with it. They look so good. God almighty, do they look good, man. I don't even want to sign them.
You got to sign them.
I know, but it'll ruin them, man. I don't want to put my name on.
Is this an autograph picture that will be available for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction? Like, no. I could just see Frank Scalish XOXO underneath that.
No. And you know what? I had a picture of you, Matt. Somebody sent me when you were a kid, and I was gonna get you back.
Yeah, but here that doesn't work because that's clearly making fun of me, and you look like a badass in this picture. So this is actually.
Oh yeah, no, yours would have been definitely being made fun of. You look like.
Yeah, this is not making fun of you. This is like, this guy is a badass. He's here to party. He's here to catch fish.
Dude,
he's here to do it with big line and a heavy rod.
Oh yeah, in my Champion Mean 15. I swear to God, dude. I swear to God, the picture of the kid that I forget who sent it to me. You look like the Buc-ee's Beaver logo.
Oh, thank you.
In it, I didn't.
I literally just said, "Do you look like a badass?" And you said, "I look like Buc-ee the Beaver."
No, in the picture he sent me, you're like a child of God knows how old you are.
Oh yeah, doesn't surprise me that freaking Drunkwood would be the one who sent it to you.
Oh, that's it was.
Why am I not surprised?
It was Drunkwood. Oh my God, that is so funny. But yeah, I don't know what I did with it. It's probably in my cloud floating around somewhere. I was saving it as ammo for whatever given.
I mean, I don't have anything badass like this. Like, there's nothing to me like riding an ostrich or like wrangling you know what I mean? Like doing something cool. Like, I mean, I played hockey.
Hey, hold that picture up right. Oh no, that's the islands. Okay. I thought that might have been the islands.
Thank God. I thought you were about to tell me to put the picture down because there was something in the background. You didn't want people to know where you were.
Oh no. It looked like this spot I fished on Kentucky Lake. And but it's not, it's the islands. All right, we're cool.
I might incorporate. So I'm getting the boat wrap next couple weeks again. Because I just haven't been home to do it. I would love to put that on the wrap somehow.
You need to put BTL all over that wrap.
That would be a good. I feel like that would be a good portion of the wrap.
I'm saying no, Matt. No. Capital BTL 24. Please don't forget to use that, because that's how they decide whether it's worth it or not.
I don't know. I feel like I was all over the map today.
No, dude, this was a hard show to do today. I was a little lost. Mike and I were talking about so many different things. I had a game plan set up for today's show, which actually went right to the trash. So remember that little hamburger I drew, that black and white
See, I
hamburger?
feel like I wasn't on my A game. I was pissing Nancy Zipper off. To which I responded, I often piss myself off too.
There you go. Go get a burger. Go get a burger and fries.
Did you do that during the show today?
No, I did a black and white rendition of it, and I was on a conference call the other day, and I added color to it.
Can you sign that and we'll give it away to a listener?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah. I will sign
That's a 1-of-1 Frank Scalish cheeseburger.
The burger. Oh, I got a mark on my paper.
Can we give that away next Thursday?
Anytime you want.
Let's give it away next week.
All right, we will. And then I'm gonna work on something too. We'll do some lure giveaways coming up real quick. We'll make up some contests. We'll do the call-in listeners again.
Live listeners.
Listeners.
Yeah, if you just have a link and an internet connection.
That's cool. I'm excited. We're gonna do a lot this year. Cheeseburger in paradise. Yo, amen, brother.
All right. I need to hit some music. I'm shocked I made it back and then we got through the show.
I'm shocked you're
What are we talking about next week?
Coherent. I don't even know yet. Probably
next week?
I might do. I have a little mini series I'm working at.
Mini series would be good because I'm 1, 2, 3 weeks in town.
Yeah, it'll work. Well, I think it's a 2-parter.
And then I'm in Japan.
Dude.
No, I might be back. The 26th, I think we fly out a little bit, like the 28th.
You'll have to look at your schedule because you gave me your schedule. I'm like
pretty dumb, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit! No, I don't know. I'll just wait till you tell me we're going live.
I like it. All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with Man Frank Scalish. Special shout out to Kyle Cortiana for jumping on live from Clayton, New York, and talking all things smallmouth, hitting us with some knowledge. We'll be back to regularly scheduled programming next Thursday, September 5th, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. No show Monday. It is a holiday. Back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Frank, good to be back in the studio.
Nice to have you back, Matthew.
See ya.